Do you order wig after wig and always wonder why it doesn't look on you like it does on other wig reviewers? Have you ever pulled a wig off your head and screamed, "Why doesn't it look like it does on everybody else?" Well, if you have, there's actually a very logical reason why wigs look different on everybody. It's perfectly normal and it's not you. Keep watching for more details. Hi, I'm Christine and I'm on a campaign to make wig wearing more mainstream so we can express ourselves any way we want without having somebody look at us sideways just because we happen to be wearing a wig. For practical tips on choosing and wearing wigs, wig reviews, as well as a whole lot of how-to and creative inspiration, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. Now, first thing, I am wearing Charlotte from Tressilor, and I will talk a little bit about her later in the video. I've had several comments left on my videos lately saying, I can't get my wig to look like it does on the model, or I never understood why this wig wasn't working for me until you explained this. And most of the time, these women blame it on themselves. There's something wrong with me that I can't make this work, or there's something wrong with my head. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's not you. There are very logical reasons why a wig looks different on you than it does on other people, and very easy ways to fix it. Now, we all know that bodies come in all shapes and sizes, but I think sometimes subconsciously we assume that all heads are shaped the same. I mean, one human skull looks pretty much like another, but if the TV show Bones taught us anything, it's that skulls are different. Or else, how else would you be able to do a computer simulation from a skull and tell what somebody looked like? Now, here's a list of just a few ways, and this is just a few ways, that head shape and face shape can vary from person to person. Circumference measurement, or the measurement around your head. Hairline to nape measurement, ear to ear measurement, how long your face is in inches, how wide your face is in inches, how long your neck is. Some people have an occipital bone, which is this guy right back here, that's really flat to the head, so not much of the skull protrudes, and some people have a very shapely occipital bone. And then on top of those measurements, there's proportion, which isn't the bald measurement, it's the measurement of one thing compared to the measurement of another thing. You could have an 8-inch face, but have a shorter space from eyebrow to hairline than somebody else who also has an 8-inch face. So is it any wonder that a wig looks different on you than it does on somebody else? But wait, there's more. Some parts of a wig are made by machine, but some parts are made by hand. And since humans aren't machines, they're not going to do the same thing exactly the same way every time. So curl pattern, length may differ slightly even in between wigs in the same style. And on top of that, wigs, like clothing, are based on what they consider an average size. And different brands have different basis for their average. For example, a Noriko or an Ellen Villa, their average is smaller than, say, an Estetica average. So when you think about it, it's actually a pretty darn lucky thing when you are able to take a wig right out of the box and have it work for you. This is my point, and I don't think it gets said enough. When a wig does not look like you want it to, or like the picture does, right out of the box, it is not your fault. You are not that one person in the whole world for whom wigs don't ever work. It's simply that you are uniquely you, and you're not average. I have gotten to the point where I don't expect a wig to work for me right out of the box. And if it does, that's a happy surprise. In fact, of the 20 or so wigs that I have in my closet right now, probably maybe 2 or 3 of them I could put on right away and they worked. And that was Ellen Villa's Rays, Noriko's Sky, and Sister Wig's Felix. So if I didn't ever want to have to do anything to a wig again, I could just keep buying those 3 styles. And there is nothing wrong with that. Believe me, I understand wanting to be low maintenance. But if you want to be able to try different styles, you have to adjust your attitude towards wig wearing. Rather than think of a wig as a pair of jeans you can pull off the rack and just have them fit you, think of a wig as a wedding gown. Nobody pulls a wedding gown off the rack and expects it to fit them without tailoring. So just understand that because your head measurements and shape and proportion are different and unique from everybody else's, your wigs will usually need to be personalized. So if you have been frustrated and think that you just can't get wigs to work for you, here are some specific tips on making a wig work for your unique physique. Number 1, change your attitude. Now, this is probably the hardest thing. Your head measurements, your face measurements are unique. Your proportions are unique. Don't be surprised by the fact that you have to modify a wig for size or fit or style. Expect it and embrace it. Have some fun with it. Number 2, know your measurements. There are some great YouTube videos that tell you in detail how to take your measurements, and I will link some in the description box below. You need to know your measurements, but then you need to figure out how to work with your measurements. When I first started wearing wigs, I took my measurements, I looked at one of those handy dandy charts, and if I can find one or make my own, I'll link that in the description box below too. Anyway, it's a chart that has 3 or 4 head measurements like circumference, ear to ear, nape line to or hairline to nape. Now, when I first took my measurements, both my hairline to nape and ear to ear fell in the very, very petite, almost child size. However, my circumference was 22, which is a perfect average. And that particular chart says, if you have one measurement that falls under a average, but 2 that fall under a petite, go with the petite. So I did. I bought a few petite wigs, and they fit nicely up in here. They were nice and snug, no gaps or anything, but they were tight, and the back kept riding up, which is a sign a wig is too tight for you. When I tried an average size, it was much more comfortable around the circumference, but I had this gap, and depending on the brand, it could be a very little gap or a very big gap in the crown, which leads me to my third point. For me, comfort and fit are everything. I can't stand to be in shoes that are uncomfortable for more than an hour. I certainly can't have a wig on my head for an 8-hour work day and it be too tight. So I decided to go with the average sized wigs because they were more comfortable, knowing that I would have to adjust in order to get a perfect fit and a perfect style. The thing about fit and comfort is that it's unique to everyone. So I really can't tell you what's going to be the most comfortable for you. I can't tell you what style you feel best in, whether you like the swoop, whether you like everything off your face, you need a lace front. That is all stuff you need to find out. Point 4, accept the fact that you will have to learn some new skills. Again, none of these skills are hard, and they can all be learned by watching YouTube videos. And exactly what skills you need to learn will depend on your preferences and how your wig needs to be adjusted. But none of them is as hard as learning to knit. And the time you spend will be well worth it, because once you get your wig personalized, you never have to style it again. It is always like that, ready to go right on your head. Now, as a concrete example of all this, let's return to my Tressilore Charlotte. Now, a lot of reviewers had reviewed this wig, and it looked great on all of them, and it met the criteria I usually like, which is short, wavy, soft, and a little bit of permatease in the top. But this is what it looked like out of the box. And no matter what I did in front of the bathroom mirror to style it, I could not get it to look like it looked in other pictures. No matter what I did, it was falling in my face, the front was straight, The back was lovely and just the way I wanted it. And there was all this hair falling in my face and I couldn't see anything. Now, first I checked the fit, which is what I always do first. It didn't really need anything in the crown. The crown fit pretty well. Since I'm a perfect average, I usually don't have to do anything to the tabs. I usually don't even use them. So once I knew it fit correctly, I assessed the style. Now, I could have steamed the entire thing off my face, but this is not a lace front wig. So you would then see the front of the wig. And I like bangs anyway, so I just cut a little layer of fringe bang around the front. But then I still had these two pieces right here that were just sort of hanging down. So I steamed them. I rolled them in curls and steamed them. It took me 10 minutes maybe to steam them. But the thing is, if I hadn't understood that the front could be easily fixed, I would have returned a perfectly good wig that I ended up liking. If you take nothing else away from this video, remember this. If a wig does not work for you, it is not your fault. It's just that, just like clothes, wigs are made for a mythical average. And nobody is a perfectly mythical average. Your measurements, proportions, shapes, everything are beautifully unique. And once you understand them, and once you understand what your preferences are as far as how the hair falls, how you like it to feel, you can easily learn to personalize every single wig you have for both comfort and style. I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know in the comments below if you have specific questions on a specific issue that you have that you want to learn how to fix. Are there specific problems you want to solve? I will do the research and get back to you. For more content like this, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button and leave a comment, because that all helps YouTube decide to show my videos to more people, which is the best way I can get the word out that wigs are one more easy but powerful way to express yourself.